Vanakkam and welcome to Cinema Express. This is Avinash Ramachandran. Innik namak kuda beast pada kathanayaki Pooja Hegde irukanga. Welcome to our show, Pooja.
Thank you.
So firstly, ஒரு interview you said that ஒரு different language padam பண்றது ஒரு responsibility. It's that you're taking over that space and you're doing a film in that particular language.
Yeah.
So on the responsibility to hold that in multiple industries, how is that? Like how is that actually that much of a pressure?
It's a gift for sure to be accepted by audiences in different languages, but I enjoy it so much. I think the reason I do it is because languages have this power. There's some magic in languages that you can connect with people faster.
Right.
Like not being Tamil, if I say lines in Tamil, you will be like, oh, you know, it's inexplainable. So I think I like languages for that because you can connect with people so fast, and it makes them feel like you're their own. And yes, of course, that's a responsibility. I hope in another 2-3 films, I'm sure I will start speaking Tamil. I can now speak Telugu quite like.
Yeah, I saw the interview. I spoke quite good Telugu, and you're trying to make a sense.
I'm trying, yes.
And since you started off in Tamil and you're coming here after almost a decade, so how was that? You know, the weight or the whole process been? Because you're coming back to industry, and you said you want to come back in a way that that shows that you are like. I still remember you saying that. I want people to see me in Tamil finally.
Yeah.
So how's that with Beast and?
It's good. I mean, my career began with Tamil cinema, so I owe a lot to it in a lot of ways. It's responsible for me being an actor, and for people to watch me in hopefully a successful film. Hopefully I entertain people. That's always been my number one goal. As an actor, you should entertain people. And I hope people like me in Beast. I would say there's no pressure, but there is just a desire that I hope the audiences love me. That's the only thing.
And with Beast, you're playing a role opposite probably the biggest star in. And then interesting thing that notice across your career is the fact that you have been part of films which has you throughout the film, not just 2-3 scene role. So is that something you really go forward to? It's like that you want to be part of the entire film?
I mean, eventually, yes. I mean, with Radhesham, I had a great role. I got great reviews. But I think it's about how memorable your role is. It's about that. Do people go back home talking about your character or your screen presence, or do they enjoy the dance? It's not about, some people can do a whole film and not be memorable. So I feel like it's about playing memorable characters. And sometimes you just want to be part of the film because you're a fan of the director,
right,
or you're a fan of or you just love the script, and you want to be part of it.
Yeah.
So there are different reasons an actor chooses, but of course I hope I get much more meatier roles. I hope I get I hope I can make something for girls, for women, because I think it's time that young girls watch a film and maybe the heroine be the hero. You know what I mean?
They feel represented also.
They feel represented. Yeah. So I hope that happens.
So, and what are the boxes that Beast ticked for you? Like to say, this will be the film I'm coming back to Tamil with. I
mean, I think Vijay sir is definitely one of them, but I think Nelson has a really interesting way of storytelling. He this dark comedy humor, this dark comedy space, not many people in India are doing. I feel like True. It's a very, very niche, very few people have the talent Correct. To capture that really well.
Yeah.
And I think Nelson's one of them for sure. And I thought it was an entertaining film. I thought the idea, everyone's trapped in this mall and there's somebody. And of course, later when I watched Kolamo Kokila and I watched Doctor, I thought it's not only that action space, but it's comedy in a very, those sarcastic, straight face, but saying funny lines.
Correct.
The situation is so funny. It's more than, it's about, not about the lines sometimes. It's just the picture, it's how funny it can be with just a
every
picture.
Element in that
Every
frame,
element is adding humor to it.
Correct.
So, that's one of the reasons.
And you're not very new to humor either. You've done in Houseful, you're part of the franchise, and that is the madcap comedy. Here it's little more of a different variety, but still it is humor. So and you revel in that space. So
I hope.
you do
I
really,
hope.
yeah.
I think it's very hard to do comedy. I think very few people can do comedy because it's one of the toughest genres to do. I think horror and comedy are very tough genres to do because to make people laugh is a very, very, very tough thing, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But I think what is amazing about see, Houseful's more like a slapstick comedy, you know. But what is funny about this is that the situation is funny. It's I don't know if it's tough or easy. I can't say that, but it's like it's how you deliver your line. It's being able to say it with a straight face, but then of course the writing has to be strong enough
Yeah.
that when you're saying it, it just sounds funny, you
Correct.
know.
Like, you shouldn't laugh, but the audience should.
Exactly. So it's one of those things, you know, and I think it's all about the casting also. I think Nelson sir has casted such interesting people. I think he doesn't cast, he just casts people who are interesting, you know. Like sometimes I'm just like, where did you find these people from? But he's like, well, they're all my friends, and I'm like, they're so funny. It's too much fun.
And another interesting thing, again, going back to an interview, you said
Yeah.
this, that not many people get the luck of having two chartbuster dance numbers viral, like one after the other.
Yeah.
You had Butta Bomma, and then you got Arabikuttu. So, how much of a believer of luck you are? Also, we had Radhesham, which spoke about a lot of these factors.
I read a line, a quote, I don't remember who it was by, but I thought it was brilliant. It said that I found that the harder I work, the luckier I get. So I think that's very true for me. I think the harder I work, I'm getting luckier.
And so the dance numbers, or as you said, it's important to have these factors also.
Yeah.
And as an actor, so what are these things that you look forward to when you go on? So of course, the acting part is there, but the dance sequence, you know, Indian cinema, which needs to have these big set pieces. And nowadays, when you have lesser and lesser dance numbers, here
That's
you have
true.
proper set pieces. So how excited are you whenever you have the chance to shake a leg?
But listen, normally in films, we do 5 songs. There are only 2 songs in this
True. That's there, yeah.
So it's kind of both worlds. It's also not having the songs, but it's also having the songs. I'm happy that that song became a big hit. I think it kind of crossed borders, like people in Hindi, people all over the world. There were people in Africa making reels to Halamati Habibu, Arabic Kottu. So thank you, God, for another thing. And I think Anirudh has done a great job with the music and I don't know, it's just the luck, it's the charm of the song and yeah.
And those hook steps.
The hook steps.
I tried it too, but then I didn't
that
have
I can probably take some credit because I danced those steps.
True. And it's not easy to emulate either. I tried enough and somewhere I'm not having the, you know, the...
Really, I think anybody can do the step.
I think it's a matter of looking
Really?
myself in the thing. And I'll get there for sure.
I think it's very easy. It's a very simple step and
I'll get there.
The shoulder shrug is the important part.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to ask you about was, so the criticisms that come in a way, before it was used to be, let's say, 2-3 weeks later or in a film magazine or the newspaper itself. Now you got instant.
Yeah.
Someone sees you dancing, someone sees you acting, immediately have someone saying something.
Yeah.
So how do you first step away from these things, or does it get to you at times?
Sometimes it gets to me, to be, I can't lie about it and say it doesn't. It does. Then I have to remind myself that everyone's going to have an opinion and you can't please everybody. So I step back and I try to disconnect as much as possible. Having said that, there are sometimes there's constructive criticism where people tell you things, but they're telling you for your good. Like there could be like something that I read and I'm like, but that is true. You know, I should keep it in mind. I welcome criticism.
Right.
But bullying, trolling, that's something I can't control. It's not something that's part of my DNA and I don't think that I can say anything about it. If people will do what they want to do. Yeah.
And being part of multiple industries and which also has its own schema, they all decide what things happen, what order, the scheduling, everything. So as an actor, do you have a process of getting into the skin of each character in different languages, or is it a common process throughout languages?
I mean, it depends on the role. Of course, different languages are more than the language, it's the people, right? Because even if I'm playing a girl from a town like Bombay, a city like Bombay, and a girl from Hyderabad, they would react differently to situations.
True, yeah.
You know, because they've been brought up in different circumstances. So I think more than the language, it was trying to understand that if that girl is reacting like that, I met people who genuinely react like that.
Correct,
You know,
yeah.
because in the start maybe I felt why so over, you know, but then I meet these people, I'm like, that's their natural way of expressing.
And there's no one way to react either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the place they are born. You know, the writing is if it's supporting the acting, the character, and more than the language, of course, it's about understanding women from different places.
True.
Yeah.
There's always a conversation about actors who, let's say, disappear a few years, or they don't give successive hits, and then they come back. There's a talk around them, like how they struggled or what is their process of coming back on top.
Yeah.
It's not much spoken about an actor like you who did that.
Yeah.
It's not easy to be written off and then come back so strongly. So how was that all? Because that would be something which is which young people would love to know.
I know when people say 10 years, I'm just like, really, has it been that long? It doesn't feel that long because my journey was never like I gave that one hit and then everything was, you know, smooth sailing after that. It was like I did my film, then for 1 year I did not have any work.
Yeah.
Then like nothing, no work at all. And then I started doing films and then I signed Mohenjo-daro and I was in contract for 2 years, so I couldn't do anything for 2 years. So it's already like, that's 3 years of my life just gone. It's been start-stop. It's been a roller coaster ride, I would say. And I think the key is that I never gave up. I just kept working because I feel like there's no other way to battle negativity than to be successful, you know. And the only thing that kept me going was, of course, my family. They've been like great cheerleaders, but I think you just need to mentally, like, I kept myself strong, and I just kept working. That's my only thing. I just kept working, and thankfully God somewhere supported me, and I'm here. I hope you guys like Beast also.
And across language, everyone's been liking you, and I hope it continues for a long time.
I know, yeah. I hope so. I want to do more Tamil films. I want to make good films.
And you're part of, again, 3-4 films, if I'm not wrong. You're doing Acharya. It's a total of 5 releases this year. So is it something you've been doing and suddenly you got a flurry of releases, or is it
Yes, it has been. That's why I'm just like, space out my movies. It's been 3 years of hard work, which is kind of releasing in 2 months, I would say, because Jan, Radhesham, then this month it's Beast and Acharya. The 2 releases this month, so I'm like, space it out, people. It's been 3 years of hard work is getting over in 2 months.
I think we'll love you to see more.
But I hope I entertain everyone.
Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a long and more successful, every film is success, and we'll see you more often in Tamil also, and we will do this again. So thank you so much, Pooja.